Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today to kick off Hal Leonard's Music Educator Certification courses. My name is Chase Banks. I'm on the Hal Leonard Education team, and we are so excited, as always, to host these virtual courses that will hopefully benefit you and your students in the upcoming school year. For any newcomers just joining us for these annual courses, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And for any returning folks, we're so glad you decided to return and join us again. These courses, as always, are free, and we're so glad to just be able to continue to offer these resources for you and your students as we get rolling with the new school year. So today's course, A+ Instruction, AutoGrade, and Assignments with MuseClass, will meet 3 times this month. So today, obviously, August 6th, next Tuesday, August 13th, and then the Tuesday after that, August 20th. The class will meet on each of those days at 5 p.m. Eastern each week, and we'll send out recordings the next day. This works out great because we understand everyone's schedule is different. So enjoy the flexibility. If you can't be here with us live, that's not a problem. You can watch the recordings at your own leisure. So this course and the others that we're offering this year are really self-paced in the sense that you'll get 3 PD hours per course from Hal Leonard. And like I said earlier, you can either attend live or watch the recordings on your own time, but it's really an honor system. So you follow along, complete any material or assignments that our clinician might share, and really just kind of a self-guided journey. In the past, we've received a few questions about the PD hours and what those can go towards, and that's really up to you. If you're looking to use these credits for, say, a teaching certificate renewal, definitely make sure you double check that these credits will be able to be used towards that. Every state is a little different, so just be sure to take a look if that's your intention. If you haven't already, you can check out a link that we have posted in the chat here, museclass.com, and you can get your account set up using that link. So getting into it, this course will walk you through some of the newest assignment tools available out there. We'll be mainly talking about, obviously, the platform called MuseClass. It's the newest resource from Hal Leonard. I'll let our clinician give you all of the nitty-gritty details, but it includes a ton of powerful features for creating music assignments, grading, providing students with practice tools, helping with music pass-offs, and just really enhancing the music assignment process and workflow for teachers. So on that note, I'll turn over to our clinician. This year, our clinician is a longtime band director from Texas. He's an arranger and adjudicator, has spent 16 years in the classroom. During his career, his groups won the Texas UIL State Championship, multiple BOA class championships, and now he's the assistant brass caption head for the Blue Coats Drum and Bugle Corps. He is presented at the Midwest Band and Orchestra Clinic, the Music for All Summer Symposium, TBA, and numerous other conferences. So on that note, I'm so happy to introduce our clinician for this course, Bob Chreste. Bob, thank you so much for being here, and I will turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chase, and welcome to everyone here, and thank you all for attending today's session. Hopefully we're able to give you some good information on how MuseClass works, get you up and running on all of that, and help you in your classrooms with your students. So a couple things you'll see, obviously we have the chat window there on the right side. So if at any point you have any questions, we've got a couple of people kind of working in the background. Both Chase and Melissa will be there to assist with any questions, as well as, kind of feed me some of those questions as well. So hopefully I can answer some of that for you. Over there, there's also a little poll over there by the chat window, just to kind of, so I can kind of gauge how many of you have actually tried out MuseClass before. And I see that as of now, only one person has, and several of you have not. So I'm very eager then to kind of show you, and we'll kind of get started with this, and you can see a bunch of the different features that we have available on the platform. So with that said, let's just kind of start digging into some of these things. So what is MuseClass in the first place? And, so it's something a little different for both teachers and students. So for teachers, it's a great platform to help kind of create your assignments, distribute your assignments, and then do all of your grading with it. I've been a part of the team since its inception back in 2020. And we spent a ton of time interviewing hundreds of music educators just to try to get an idea of what could we build to make their job easier. And it was just an open-ended, we weren't trying to market anything to them. And it's just like, what could make your job easier? And so we used that information. And then finally we got to work around March of 2020, actually. And so we think a lot of the things in here are just meant to help you save time and make things easier for your students. Now with Hal Leonard being on board as well, there is over 200,000 pieces of content in our catalog that are available for you. And then everything about this is free for the entire next school year. So you can get a chance to check everything out on your own over this coming school year and see if things will work for you. Everything on the teacher side of things is all web-based, and it's all done through the website museclass.com. Your entire teacher landscape and all the tools you need in there as a teacher are all going to be on the web. For students, on the other hand, what we've tried to do is put everything in one easy to use app for them, where they can see their assignments, they complete their assignments, they can read music from the PDF viewer inside the app. Obviously, we have our AutoGrade technology, which we're not going to be digging into as much today. That'll be in our next session next Tuesday. There's a ton of extra built-in tools in there. It's available on the App Store as well as Google Play Store. They can use it on any of their smartphone devices. They can use it on tablets, either iPads, Galaxy tablets, whatever, as well as Chromebooks. I know, especially during the COVID times, a lot of districts really went one-to-one with Chromebook. So we made sure that we're able to be used on there. And one of the great things is that it is also available in offline mode. So the students will need to be online to just download the assignment, but then they can take their device home. And if they don't have internet at home, they're still able to complete their assignment, including AutoGrade, because it's all app-based and not web-based. Then when they get back to school the next day, they can simply just submit their assignment once they have Wi-Fi access again, but they don't actually need to be connected to the internet to do the assignment. So those are some of the things, some of the highlights about the program and kind of how it's set up. And, you know, all of this was designed with educators in mind. And it was all of these ideas came from educators. It's not just some people that had an idea, hey, let's do this. And it's the whole point from this from the very beginning is to just continue to find ways to help educators across the country, and even more so across the world, as we're going to be working into some other projects in the future. So that's a little bit about what MuseClass is. As Chase was saying, just a couple short things about me, so you kind of know where I'm coming from when we're talking about some of these different things. So I've taught high school band in Texas for 16 years. I now do a lot of arranging, consulting, judging, things like that, especially on the marching side of things. I'm currently working with the Bluecoats as we're coming into the last few days of the season so far. It's been a lot of fun. In the past, I spent 9 years with Carolina Crowned, as well as time with both the Santa Clara Vanguard and the Cadets. I'm a saxophone player, but I decided to learn brass, and so I marched drum corps as well. And then I was a performer and conductor in the show Blast that maybe some of you have gotten a chance to see over the last 20 some odd years. And then, just being a part of the original MuseClass team. When we started all the research in like late 2019, and then development began in 2020. So it's been a lot of fun just kind of watching this project come to fruition. So what are the things we're really going to dig into in this first session? You can see here, we're going to talk a lot about just kind of how to get up and running. And as I switch back over to the poll to get an idea, we've still got, yes, awesome. Most of us have never used this before, so this should be a lot of fun, and I hopefully can answer a lot of questions for you all. So you can see we'll sign up at museclass.com, talking about how to do that, things to do. We'll, as far as the sign up flow and on the onboarding process, talk about like creating a calendar, adding other teachers, the different features of the admin tab when you create your organization, how to create a class, adding students to a class, and then creating an assignment. And then the types of assignments that we're going to be digging in on today is primarily going to be audio and video assignments. As I mentioned previously, in the upcoming sessions, we'll dig in more to AutoGrade assignments on the next session on the 13th, and then we'll talk about all the different other assignment types, as well as the other just kind of sort of I don't want to say random, but I'll say random features. that are available during the last session on August 20th. So with that being said, let's see if we can go ahead and get into this. So the first thing you will want to do is go to museclass.com, or on the chat window, you'll see the little link there. It says click here to sign up for MuseClass. It'll take you to the MuseClass website, and in the top right corner, you can click on, I don't remember the exact words here, but basically sign up now or create your account. That's what you would like to do. And then you'll see, here, let's get back here. You'll see some of the different things with this. And notice I have that asterisk there to use a school email address. I know some of you may be interested in seeing what it looks like from a student point of view as well, and we can absolutely talk about how to do that. However, you cannot use the same email address as both a teacher and a student. So as you're doing this, that's why we're talking about using a school email address to sign up for a teacher account. And we'll talk through, if you do want to play around on the student app, then you can use a personal email address. As we're going through this, also some other things to be aware of are that when you are signing up for an account here, you're actually creating your organization. So say you teach at the, you're the band director at the Washington High School Band. If you are creating that, and say maybe you have 2 assistant teachers or a percussion director that teaches with you, or maybe a color guard director that teaches with you, you should not each go to museclass.com and sign up for an account for the Washington High School Band, because what that's going to do is create multiple different accounts for your school that will not be able to talk to one another. So if you are a head director or an assistant and you want to create the organization for your school, this is how you will do it. And I'll show you during this process how you can add other teachers into your organization. And then from there, once they're in your organization, you can assign which classes that you will give them access to. So if there happen to be some people here where 2 people from the same program, only one of you should sign up for an account here, and then we'll add the other person in on the next step that we will get to. So you'll see here, first thing you get to is, are you a teacher or are you a student? Obviously you will click teacher for all of you. And if they do click that you're a student, it will just remind them that the web is solely for teachers and that the students need to go to either the App Store or Google Play to download the app to their device. Once you get there, you'll see some basic information that we'll need to create your account, as far as name, role, the name displayed to students. That's so that anytime the students get a notification, either a push notification on their device or an email, it will say Mr. or Miss so-and-so is assigning this assignment, whatever the name of the assignment is that you create for the class, whatever class it is created. So rather than saying, I'm going to pick some name, rather than Amy Tan, it will say Miss Tan, blah, 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 or whatever you choose to say in there for the name displayed to students. So just trying to keep it a little bit more professional so we don't have our students calling us by our first name. So hopefully most of you have been able to go to museclass.com, sign up for an account, and you'll see once you get done filling out all of the information there, it will send you an email to whatever email address that you used to verify your account. Once you click on the link that is in the email, and if some of you are still doing that and waiting on things, just feel free to just pop something in the chat, say, hold on, I'm finishing up now, or something like that. But, you'll get a link that takes you to a couple of different things. First of which is going to be create a grading calendar. So this is where, now that most of us have either started school or just about to start school for the school year, this is where you'll put like 24-25 school year would be the calendar name. Then for grading period, that's where you will add, whether or not you're on semesters or 9 weeks or trimesters or 6 weeks, whatever it may be, you can go in and create your different grading periods in there. Just, set the name of it and then set the dates. And this is just to help you keep track with everything in there. And this, you can go back and edit it over time. And so as you're going through this now, for example, I just put summer 2024 as, for this hypothetical grading period that we're in right now. But for you all, if you want to get things up and running, you can put those in. If you don't have the exact dates set up at this point, you can at least put in the names of, first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, third 9 weeks, fourth 9 weeks, and then you can go back later. And one of the tools, once we get to the admin tab, I will be able to show you kind of how you can go back and edit this in the future when you have a little bit more time to get all the specifics in there. Some of you may already have it in there, so awesome. So that's a little bit, the first thing you'll do is create your grading calendar after you verified it. The next thing it's going to do, as we were talking about on the previous slide, is this is where you'll be able to invite other teachers into your organization. So link takes me to Big Marker request demo. I will let someone in the background handle that for you, Matthew. So as I was saying, that this is where you'll have the opportunity to invite teachers into your organization. So if you have, like I said, either assistant directors or percussion director or a color guard or a student teacher, something along the lines of that, you can add those people into your organization. And then just because you're in that organization does not give them access to all of the classes. We'll show you later how you can give specific things. Like, for example, your percussion director probably doesn't need access to your beginner clarinet class. There's no reason for that to bog down things for them. So we'll show you how to do that here coming up shortly. So if you don't want to invite teachers now, you can always do that later, and we'll show that to you in the admin tab. But this is just part of the initial onboarding flow to get you up and running. I'll click over here to the Q&A just to see if there's other things. Let's see, if we use the software and it ends up integrating really well into our curriculum this year, how much will our district need to pay to continue to use it after the free period is up? As of now, Matthew, the current plan is to charge, I believe it's $15.99 per student per year. Chase is answering that now, but I believe that is the answer for that. All right. Moving along here. So we talked about it. Once you've done that, you created your grading calendar, whether or not you added other teachers into your organization, or if you skip that step, it should take you to your classes page, which at this point won't have any classes. If you notice on the top of the screen, you'll see classes, my library, music catalog, resources, and admin. For those of you that are following along as we're doing all of this, if you click on the admin tab, you'll see a number of different tabs on the left side of the screen. You'll see students, staff, classes, calendars, payments, order history, and profile will all be over there. So this is where you're going to manage your organization. As the person that created this account for your organization, you are now technically an administrator for the organization in MuseClass. In the MuseClass world. If you want to add, like, for example, if you're an assistant just trying to come learn a little bit more about this and you think your head director may be involved, you can easily invite them to it and then select that you want to have them as an administrator as well. When you're adding other teachers to it, and you'll see on the screen here where it says role, and you click on that, you'll see a couple of different options between admin and teacher. If you select someone and you add them as a teacher, they will not have access to this admin tab. It will not show up on their screen for their account. Therefore, they won't have the ability to make major changes to the organization itself. They can't bring new people in, new teachers in. Only the administrator of the organization can do that. So if you have someone else that you don't want kind of messing around with it, but you want them to have access to the classes to assist with grading, assignments, things like that. That's kind of the differences there between the admin role and the teacher role. So all of you that just signed up are immediately just an admin. And if you want to add other people, you can choose whether or not you want to give them the same privileges as you, or if you just want them to be able to create assignments, do grading, things like that. So in this admin tab, some of the other things here, like you said, you'll be able to see a list of all of your students here, and you can edit any of their information. You'll be able to, if they need to change something for some reason, you can help them with that. There's a handful of other tools. You can help them reset their password because they do not have to have an actual email address. I know sometimes originally we tried to have a link similar to other platforms out there where it'll email them a link you have to click on to redo your password. But because many schools have like a single sign-on, students have something that looks like an email address, but they can't actually receive email at it. So that's why we went this route with that. So you have the ability to assist your students with fixing their password for them. Other features here, the staff tab. So you'll see if you click on that where it says invite staff, and that's where we get the opportunity, if we didn't do it previously, at any point we can add more staff into the organization. And again, I'll remind you, it only invites them to the organization. It does not put them into all of your classes. You will have the option to choose which teachers have access to which classes. It will send them, you'll just put in their name, their email address, and what role you want to give them, and then it'll send them an email. They'll click on that, and they'll go through a very similar quick onboarding flow. They won't need to invite other teachers or create a classroom though, or create a calendar, because as the admin, you already did that for them. You'll also be able to see all of the classes within your organization. And if you use this for a few years now, you can switch between each where it says all grading calendars. You can click on that drop-down menu and you can go to a specific grading calendar so that you can see just the classes within in there. You can see the number of students that have signed up, and you can manage some of those classes by deleting them if necessary. Calendars, here's where if you didn't have the opportunity previously, you can go back in at a later time and put in all the specific dates for each of the grading periods in there. And at the end of the school year, if you want to create the 25-26 school year calendar, this is also where you can go in and do that. You do not need to create a brand new account to do that. Payments is something you just don't have to worry about much right now because it's free. So eventually, this is where you'll be able to keep track of all of that, as well as all of the different files that you've paid for in your order history with information on all those. But as I said, again, right now, it's all free, so you don't have to worry about any of that. And then finally here in the admin tab is where you can update your profile actually I'd say the profile for the organization, whether it's the name, any type, the subject, anything else in there, address. It's just some basic contact info so that if we need to send you some free stuff, we can do that. So that's a little bit about the admin tab and just kind of what you have the ability to kind of dig and play around in. Where do we go to add teachers later on? So yeah, that was from about 5 minutes ago. Hopefully we got the chance, Dion. Within the admin tab, like I said, we'll go to staff, and then you'll click invite staff, and that's where you will add them to your organization. And then I'll show you here shortly where you will add them into each of the different classes. So if you have any other questions, again, feel free, let us know. Still waiting for my confirmation email for Jay Bailey. Hopefully that has gone through by now. What will the cost of the resource be? Yeah, $15.99. We got that. All right. So I think we're caught up on some of the different questions in there. Any other languages supported besides English? At this point, no. But yes, we are absolutely in the works of making this global. All right. So let's move on. Now that we're there, if you go back and either click on the MuseClass logo in the top left, or if you click on the Classes tab, it'll take you to the same place. And you'll see this first logo that you see on the screen here where it says you don't have any classes yet. And so you can click Create Class. In the process for this, again, we've tried to make everything absolutely as simple as possible. You will enter whatever the class name is, whether it's symphonic band, treble chorus, color guard, jazz band, marching band, whatever it is you want. This is where you'll create your class name. You'll attach the current year's grading calendar. If you click that drop down menu, the only one that should be there is the one that you just created. And then on the thumbnail, if you click on that, you'll see that you'll have, about 15 different images you can pick to just have associated with that class. So as far as creating a class, it's really simple. Let's see, is it only for band or can it be used with general? It can be used for any type of music class. We have people that teach in studios and private lessons that use it. We have bands, we have choirs, we have orchestras, we have drum corps, we have color guards, we have some music theater classes. It's all set up just to use so that whatever tools that you currently have and use with your students, you should be able to use those same resources in here. So yes. All right, so hopefully we've all been able to get through the process of creating a class. And at any point, if you want to create a class, you'll see that create a class button should always be available for you at any point. So even after you've created one class, you can go in and add several throughout that. Okay, moving right along here. So now talking about different things to add students to a class. So once you are inside your class, by default, the first tab over there is going to be the assignments tab, and we'll get to creating assignments soon. If you click on the students tab, you should see the thing where students have not joined you yet. And so if you want to, if you click on the invite students, you'll see that much like Google Classroom and some other platforms, you'll have a code. Now with this, you can either just copy and paste that code into an email that you send out your students, or if you click on download instructions PDF, you'll get a PDF that looks like what I have shown on my screen there, where it gives the students all of the information on how to get signed up for a class. It has the QR codes and/or web links for either the App Store or Google Play. It tells them what they need to do to open the app. The student sign up process is super simple on their end. They just put in their name, an email address, preferably their school one. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be a real email address. If it is, they can get email notifications every time you send an assignment. But if your school requires them to use their school kind of login, they can put that in, because as I said before, for example, if they lose their password, you can help them reset their password. They don't have to go through waiting for an email to be able to do that. Once they do that, in the top right corner, you'll tap on join class, and you'll see that it's already personalized with your name, your class name, as well as the class code. And if the student wants to add additional information like their student ID, grade level, other instruments they play, something like that, they can tap on the gear icon that is located inside the app. As well as any of you that are following along, as I mentioned from the beginning, if you put in your school email address for the everything we're doing now, if you want to just use a personal email address and on your phone, you can download the app with that, and then kind of just sort of play along on there and see things on that. I couldn't get back to the classes page from admin. Now I seem to be locked out. I would try just go back to museclass.com. I'm not sure why that happened. If you just go back to museclass.com, and if it doesn't take you immediately to classes, just click on the login and that should do that. But yeah, from the admin, I'm not sure where you would have been in there, but it still should be the bar at the top should always be there to go back to classes. Or as I mentioned, if you just click on the MuseClass logo, it should take you directly to your classes tab. So as I was saying in there, one of the great things about adding students into a class is if you want to, with this PDF, you can either email the PDF to your students, you can put it up on your projector in your classroom, you can print it out and pass them out to kids, or put it on the wall in the classroom. So there are many different ways so that all of the information is there for your students. You know, some of the feedback that I got from some of our users is that in the span of 5 minutes, a band director, and he did this right before Christmas break in December, and when you're just trying to find different things to do, and he wanted to try it out. So in the span of 5 minutes, he signed up for his account, he made a class, he made an assignment for his students to just introduce themselves. It was a video assignment. Then he told the students where to go to download the app. The students created their account, joined the class, saw the assignment, and did the assignment. And all of that happened in the span of 5 minutes, just to try to show how quickly and easily this should be to get your students up and running on all of this. I know as myself, I said that I spent 16 years in the classroom, and I have been through the thing that many of you all have been through, where your school district administration says, all right, everyone, welcome back. This year, we're going to be using this software. And then you have to go through hours worth of professional development. And maybe that's happening with you right now. I don't know. And then the next year, it's like, all right, this year, now we're going to be trying this. And you have to do all types of additional training on that. We've tried to get all of this, make all of this as intuitive as possible for both you and your students. I know in my past, I've obviously used some of the other platforms out there that seem to have become increasingly more difficult to figure out how to be used. It is not allowing me to leave the calendar page. Even going back to MuseClass Talk, I cannot get to classes. It's not allowing me to leave the calendar page. Did you set up a calendar? Maybe there's some miscommunication there. You must set up a grading calendar before it will let you do anything else. So if maybe Matthew, I'm reading your question there, that if you did not ever create a grading period, it forces you into doing that, because with the way it's set up in the background, it must be attached to some type of grading calendar. Do I try for free or log in? Yes. Awesome, Matthew. Good. Yeah, you should be able to just, if you've already created your account, you should be able to just go back to log in. So yeah, sorry about the calendar thing, but yes, because to create a class or an assignment, there has to be a grading calendar for it to be attached to. That's why I'll go back here on the screen. When you create class, it must be attached to a grading calendar after you type in the class name. That's probably why it was telling you, it was not letting you move past that. So you'll see on here, this class code is for the demo class that I just created to do this presentation here, but you'll see you'll each have your own individual. So if you want to, now that you've created your own class, if you want to download the student mobile app and then go and create a student account with a personal email address, and then you'll see in the top right corner to click on or press join class, and then you put in the code for whichever class that you just created, just so you can start seeing what it looks like on the student side as well. All right, moving right along. So the next thing, once we're in our class now, we've talked about how to get students into the class. Let's talk about creating an assignment. So if you click on assignments, you'll see your screen should say you don't have any assignments yet. And once you click on create assignment, you'll see that there are 6 different assignment types on there. So you'll see that we do AutoGrade, video, audio, in-person, non-performance, and worksheet assignments. So as I mentioned, today we're going to dig into a little bit of the video and audio assignments. Our next session on August 13th, we'll dig into the AutoGrade. And then on the 20th, we'll talk about those last 3, in-person, non-performance, and worksheet assignments. See, I'm just checking some of the questions in here. All right, we got some of the different things set up and answered. Awesome. Thank you again, Chase and Melissa, for answering some of those questions in the background. All right, so on creating an assignment, again, we've tried to make this as simple as possible. One of our phrases that we use is create an assignment in under a minute. So you just click create assignment, choose which assignment type. Then you'll see it's a who, what, and when. There's 3 steps to the assignment creation process. On the who portion, you just choose which class. By default, if you're in a class, it will select that. If you click the drop-down menu as you add other classes, you can assign something to multiple classes at the exact same time. By instruments, it's automatically selected everyone, but if you only want to assign something to the woodwinds, then you can just go in and click just the woodwind instruments. And the way how it knows is when a student creates their account, one of the things they have to do is put in their instrument, and whatever instrument they have attached there, that's how it links to here when you're creating the who. So for example, if you're a high school director and you want to assign, at this time of year, we're working on marching band stuff, and you want to assign an assignment to your kids to, play, their opener or something like that. But you probably don't need to assign it to your drum majors because they're not playing anything. They're, flapping their arms up there. So just to keep things a little bit cleaner in the grade book and everything like that, you can just uncheck that student. So on the students tab, you'll see all of your students that are in your class. And if you don't want a student, a specific student to be able to get the assignment, you just uncheck their name. So super easy on the who. On the what, this is where you'll put a lot of the assignment details. You'll put the name of the assignment, any type of instructions you have for the assignment. Some other neat features that are kind of sort of hidden in here is if you have any type of external link that you want your students to be able to see, whether you want them to go see like some kind of entry on some blog online, or you want them to watch a video on YouTube with instructional information or anything like that. If you just copy and paste the link in here, it will automatically turn into a hyperlink for the students on the app. So all they have to do is tap on it and it will play or go to whatever it is that you want them to be able to see on the app. For attachments, you're able to add any type of attachment you want, PDFs, Word files, any type of that, MP3 files, video files, anything like that. However, what I will say with that is those attachments do get downloaded to their device. So if you want to do like a big video because you want to explain something via video, I would highly recommend doing that via YouTube. Whereas if you can record it on your own, upload it to YouTube, Vimeo, something along the lines of that, that will be a lot better than you attaching like a 200 megabyte video file, because then that 200 megabyte video file must get downloaded to their device rather than being streamed from somewhere like YouTube, Vimeo, or one of those other resources. So, but you can add any type of attachment you would like in there, and as many as you would like. You also have the ability for, at least for audio and video assignments, you can add a backing track. So whether you want to have a click track or drones to work on intonation, or for solo and ensemble and you want to have the piano accompaniment, or for example, like I mentioned, we have color guards that use this. If you want to have like a recording of the opener music and they want to do a video assignment in their backyard doing their flag work, you can add a backing track in there. Next, you'll see grading type. We support 3 different types of grades. We can do numeric, pass, fail, and rubric, and all of them are fully customizable, and you can have as many different grading types as you want to create. If you want to, do scales on a 1 to 10 instead of 1 to 100, you can do that. For pass, fail, it's by default, it's set up to 0 is fail and 100 is pass. If you want to change it to 70 and 100 or 50 or whatever you want, you can do any of that. And then for rubric, you can have it, I think by default, there's 3 different options in there. You can have up to 5 different options, and you can create as many different rubrics as you want, and you can choose the weighting of those as well, however you would like. If you want to do that, you will just click on manage down there, and then you'll be able to manage any of the different grading types. You can edit them, you can add more, anything you would like to do there. And then you'll see at the bottom there are some advanced options. By default, the students are allowed an unlimited number of attempts at the assignment. And then by default, it will automatically release grades and comments. That's as soon as you get done grading it and press the submit button. Once you give them a grade, it automatically pushes it back out to them. They get a notification that they've received a grade, and they can go back and see their grade and comments. And then by default, allow students to upload existing video from their device. That means if they just record it on their camera rather than within the app, by default, they're allowed to do that. Now, let's talk about some of the other options in there real quick. For attempts allowed, if you want to put more performance pressure on your students, this is where you can change it. It can either be unlimited, or you can choose anywhere from 1 to 5. So that if you want to, make something more of a test where, hey, you got 1 chance to do this, then you just set it to 1. The student does the assignment, and then it automatically submits it. They don't get the choice to choose between their submissions. This is great, like maybe for like auditions or chair tests or anything like that. That's a great way you can use that. Under the release grades and comments, the other options are manually, which say maybe that you want to wait till you grade everyone because you don't want anyone to find out before anyone else. You'll change that to manually. And then on the gradebook screen, there's a button. You'll just click that and it then immediately pushes all the grades out to all of the students. And then the last option on that is going to be never. And we have a lot of schools that use this for end of year auditions. And so that you as the director have the ability to have all of the audition submission from the student, whether it's audio or video, in case you have to meet with the parent later. And you don't want the kids to see their numbers. You can have all of your feedback on there. If you can have like a rubric setting, if you have it set up like that. And so you always have all of the information accessible, but the students will never see that number. And, you know, sometimes as teachers, I'm sure many of you know that sometimes it's not just the number that matters. Sometimes we have to take into account eligibility or behavior or just class schedule conflicts, things like that. So you may not want them to see any of that. So those are some of those other options in there. And then finally, at the bottom here, the when portion of creating an assignment. You can put by default, whatever day it is, that's the date assigned, and then the date due is the next day, but you can change it to whatever you'd like. You also have the ability to assign things for the future. So for example, today is August 6th. If school starts a week from today on August 13th, and you want to have a lesson on the first day of school or some type of assignment, you can go in and create an assignment for August 13th, and the assignment will automatically get pushed out at that date. If you have students that join at a later date, as long as the assignment is not past the due date, the student will automatically receive the assignment. If it's in that time period between when it's been assigned and when it's due, and you have someone join in the middle of that, they automatically get it. Now, say, for example, you're 3 weeks into the grading period and you get a brand new student. You probably don't want them doing everything since the beginning of the school year, but you want them maybe to catch up from the previous week. You can always go back in on the assignment screen and edit the assignment, and then you'll go through the same flow of who, what, when, and you'll see on the who, you'll probably click on the students and you'll see the list of students, and this new student will not have a check by their name because they joined after it was already due. You just click on their name and then they will get the assignment then, so they can make it up. So you have the ability to do that. And then on this when portion, so yeah, you can set then the date due and what time you want it due, and that's based on whatever time zone you are currently in. And then by default, we have accept late submissions. If you uncheck that, then a student will not be able to submit. Even if they've done the assignment and just never submitted that specific take, they will not be able to submit it because you have unchecked that. So that's again, obviously took longer than a minute to explain it, but I wanted to try to make sure you understood all the different features. But if you just want to go in and, you know, this class here, I'm going to just send it to all the students in the class. We want to play our concert B flat major scale. The instructions, you can tell them what tempo to play it at. And then if you want to attach a scale sheet, you can do that. Select the grading type, pass, fail, numeric, whatever you want. You can click on that and then just set the date due, click create assignment, and you can easily be able to do that in under a minute. So let's see. How much this? Will the student app work on a MacBook? I know with the M2 chips, that kind of changes things. Honestly, Scott, I have not played around with that. It has not been set up to work that way. I know that in the future, we want to be able to make sure that we can provide this for students on any platform. Student app, okay, yep, interfaces users. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. So yes, let's move along here because I know we just got a few minutes left. So let's talk about some of the things on audio and video assignments. And now that you all know how to set up an assignment, set up a class, actually, I do want to go back and do one more thing in the classes, only because I talked about that. And I'm going to actually switch over to, actually, if you go back to your classes, you'll see assignments, students, the next one down with teachers. Within this specific class, you'll notice this is different than the admin. This is where I was mentioning before that this is how you will add teachers to a specific class. Is once you're in a class, if you click on the teachers tab on the left, and then on the right button, or on the right side of the screen, you'll see the green button that says add teacher. You will see a list of all of the teachers that you have invited into your organization. So during that initial onboarding where you could invite other teachers, this is where you would see those people and you would give them access to this class. You know, as I mentioned, sometimes the teachers don't need access to all the classes. They just need access to a handful of specific classes. And this is how you will add them into that one class. So I wanted to make sure that I covered that before we moved on. All right. So now let's talk about a handful of features here on audio and video assignments. And what you're going to see here is some screenshots from the student mobile app, because we've taught you how to create those assignments. On the student side, this is for both audio and video. There is a built-in metronome and tuner. You'll see on the bottom left and right of the screen down there, the pitchfork, as well as a little metronome icon. And you can choose for the metronome if you just want quarter note subdivision, eighth note, triplet eighth notes, or 16th notes. And then if you want them to record with the metronome playing, they'll just click on the toggle switch there on play metronome while recording, so that the metronome will start once they press the record button. If you want them to tune before they do that, whether you use a pitch center of 440 or 442, depending upon whatever it may be, you can tap the hertz there and adjust it. I believe we have it set up from 438 through 442, which should cover most everybody in here. And then they can tune before that, and then they can just tap anywhere else on the screen and make that go away. So the fact that we have those built-in tools, if you allow the students to record a video assignment just on with the camera on like the photo camera app on their phone rather than MuseClass, obviously those tools will not be built in, and you may have to have a secondary device to either tune or have a metronome playing or anything like that. So, you know, better often than not to just do the assignment within the MuseClass app, because we have those built-in tools. Additionally, with those tools, the camera can face either direction. So if they need to get further away or anything like that, there's just a little toggle switch that they'll see on the camera screen once they click on either record a video or upload from library. And you'll see that this is how we're talking about if they just did a recording on their own wherever, and they just want to upload from their device. They'll click on that button, and then you'll see there where they can record a video or upload from the library. You can also get an idea of what the information screen looks like for the students once they receive an assignment. They can see when it's due, they can see how many attempts they have, as well as the instructions. And if you have instructions, you can see that take more than the 2 lines. If they just tap on that, then it will expand, and they can see those links and other thing that we were talking about before if you want them to go watch something on YouTube. Any type of attachments you add, they can tap on that and be able to see that. And hopefully before any of you ask, I will answer your question here on this next screen is yes, they can view attachments on their device while recording. So if they're like, oh, I left my music at home. Well, if you have an audio or video assignment, they can view it on their device screen as long as you added it as an attachment to the assignment. If you're doing an audio assignment, this is only for audio because video, it automatically uses the front camera screen. But for an audio assignment, if you click on the little microphone icon that you can see on the screen right around in here, it'll open up here whether or not you want to use the microphone on the bottom, the one up on the front by the camera, or the one on the back. As well as if you click the paperclip icon, you can see all of the different attachments that are in there. If they want to view the attachment while recording, they do need to start the recording first and then click on the attachment, because as you can see, once you're on the attachment screen, the record button does not exist on that screen. So they'd have to start the recording first, then tap on the paperclip so they can see that, and then pull up whatever it is they need to view. And a handful of final features here as we're getting ready to wrap things up. As we talked about before, you do have the ability to add a backing track that we talked about before, and you'll see what it looks like on their screen. This is both for video and audio assignments. So they can preview it ahead of time. And then once you press the record button on the bottom, it'll count down like TikTok 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the music will start playing from that backing track. And then whatever it is you want them to do, they will complete their assignment. For backing tracks, it must be an MP3. As I said, it's great for color guards. It's great for choirs. If you want to give them their pitches, if you want to, whether it's you use MuseScore or some other platform, or you just want to record an MP3 on your own, you can do that and then give them their pitches ahead of time so they can sing that, or if they have like a pitch pipe or something like that. It's also great for solo and ensemble if you have a recording of your the piano accompaniment for your student, and then the student can play along with that. So it's just some other neat features that are available. And again, all of this is completely free. So that just about 1 minute shy of the time here. So I guess if we have any questions, I'm going to get back to my screen here and see what we've got. Doing some of that over at the Q&A. Looks like, again, Chase and Melissa doing a great job in the background. Will video be available to review? Absolutely. The students can have as many takes as they want if you have unlimited, and the students can review any of those on there. Once they do a take, that gives them the chance to review it, and then they can save or discard it, and they can save as many as they want. And then once they decide which one they want to choose, they can go through and do that. They just submit whichever one they want. The students also have the ability to add a brief note to each take, just to kind of help them keep track of which is which. You as the teacher will not see that note, though. It's solely for them to help manage which take was which, especially if they've done a bunch of them. Certificates, I'm going to let Chase handle all of that. I'm just trying to go back and forth. How would look on a Chromebook? Different tabs for recording and then read PDF. I'm not sure I totally understand the question there, Jose.
Bob, there's one more question here from Scott asking about the in-person assignments.
Yeah, we will dig into that a little more on the 20th, but basically what it is, it's just so that you can keep track of all of your assignments in one location, rather than like if your school district requires you to use Skyward or Schoology or, any one of those other platforms, so that if you do like in-person pass-offs with your students, they can still review all of your feedback and see the grade all in the MuseClass app, rather than having to go multiple places to view all of that.
Cool. Well, I just wanted to take a second and say, Bob, thank you so much again for being here with us today. This has been so helpful. As a reminder for everyone in attendance, be sure to look out for that email tomorrow with a recording from today's session. You'll be able to go view that recording at any time, rewatch, etc. And if you happen to have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to support@museclass.com. Our support team is amazing, and they'll be able to help you walk through any issues you might have while you're setting up your account and things like that. I'll throw that.
Yeah, you can do support, or my email's up there, just bob@museclass.com as well. I'll be happy to do whatever I can to help you out. And then, as I've shown before, just the kind of what's going to be covered in the upcoming sessions.
And just to clarify one thing, because we have a few questions in the chat here. Yes, PD certificates will be sent out at the conclusion of the course. So after that last class meeting on August 20th, everyone that attended or watched the recordings live, you'll get an email with a certificate filled out containing those PD hours. So great. Unless there are any other questions, and Mary, question of same click for next week. Yeah, you'll get an email ahead of next week's session with the link to get to the webinar and everything like that. So great. Everyone, thank you so much for being here this evening, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Thank you all.
Take care.